worldly example that comes to my mind. I met this young Singhani. This is still so fresh in my mind. Her wedding had been arranged. This is an example of Jagad Bhikari Firat Hai Sabko Data Ram, that you don't have to be that beggar. That just because you're entwined in a situation, but by the blessings of being in the Sangat of great Gurmukhs, by being in the Sangat, that male can be washed off of you. And you can just find yourself in the slipstream of the Sangat that are already flowing in that river, and the whole of the world, which is the riverbank, will have no sway over you. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the wedding had been sort of arranged but not fixed, if that makes sense. That sort of grey period in between when weddings are being fixed but they haven't quite been firmed up. But she'd made all sorts of plans, and she was completely fixated on how this was going to roll out. And she was so attached to this person that it was a form of attachment that was only going to lead to pain, whether the marriage went forward or not, because she was basically making this person more than he was. And when you outsource all of that power to somebody else, you don't have the control to make the decisions that bring you closer to the Guru. And what happened to this poor girl, the rishta, it gets broken off. And she can't eat, she can't sleep. She's completely consumed with, oh my God, what am I going to do now? This is the only way I could see my life going forward. In a way, she's a beggar to this situation, right? She's like, how can I possibly see this? And I remember meeting her. I said, well, what are you going to do? And her family had a history of going to Nanaksar Gurdwara in Samrala Chowk, Ludhiana. That was where her family would spend a lot of time doing Sangat of Baba Jaswant Singh Ji, a great saint of the Panth who's left this world physically, though Gurmukhs still have their darshan to this day. She says, I'm going to go and see Babaji, a great Gurmukh, and in the Sangat there, I'm hoping I'll get some answers. Maybe Babaji will do ardas, they'll fix the situation, they'll give me some guidance. I was like, okay, look, I hope it all works out for you. I saw her like several months later, and I said, did you get your answer? Did Babaji explain to you why it wasn't in your interest? Did you get what it is that you were looking for to solve the problem? And she's looking at me confused. And I'm like, you know, the situation with that rishta? She goes, oh, that. When I landed there and I went to Ludhiana, I went to the Guru Card, and I started doing seva, I forgot all about it. I forgot to ask them about it. I just spent 2 weeks doing seva, and I just realized, hey, life's chilling, man. Vi Jagad Bhikari Firat Hai Sabko Data Ram. Everything I need is here. Sabko Data Ram. Because I woke up Amrit Vela. I spent time with the Gurmukhs that were there. The Mama taught me how to do Prashad and seva. But she realized that she was going to beg for something in this world from the giver of all gifts. The company of the Guru, the company of the Sadh Sangat, the company of the Mahapurkh. And in so arriving there, she's already realized she's got the greatest gift. What is there to ask for? If you're in the house of Gurmukhs, if you're doing seva of Mahapurkh, if you're blessed to be in the Sangat of Amrit Wala Gurmukhs that are going to be vibrating upon the name of WhyGuru. She said, I was so embarrassed when I reflected on what brought me there, I couldn't ask the question. I thought that was such a wonderful Sikhya that sometimes when you're in the company of Sangat and you're talking about, you can learn the most profound teachings. Before you do any ardas, if you just reframe your position, you're going to the Guru Card. Whoa, you're before Maharaj. Whoa, everything's all right. Whatever it is you're asking for, you can still ask for it. I'm not saying that you can't ask, but that thing which has had a power over you before you walk beneath the Nishan Sahib, you should find that if you realize where you're standing with your hands together as you're bowing before Maharaj, actually that thing doesn't have the power over me that I thought it did. And that's the power of walking into the Darbar. That's the power of our Nishan Sahib. That's the power of walking in behind the Sangat and taking a breath and going, yo, I'm actually where I need to be anyway. Everything's been reframed. And I'm just speaking to myself here when I say this. Bhai Amandeep Singh, you say that, but when we walk into the Darbar, did you say thank you? As I walked in today, as I made my Radhasa before Maharaj, of all of the things that have got a grip on me outside, just by coming inside, that grip is loosened. The grip of Maya over me is loosened. And who can deny, if you close your eyes, if you've got the courage to just close your eyes for a moment, just try and put yourself in the problems that were with you 25 minutes ago. You'll realize, whatever it was over you 25 minutes ago, it's like, whoa, what is that?
Whoa.